What? Like 9 to 10-ish. Okay. All right, Josie, we are on 3-1. This is the first section in chapter 3. We just did mean, median, mode on Friday. Now we're talking mid-range. Mid-range. Got it? Are you ready for mid-range? Okay. The mid-range. We know what range is. We talked about range the other day, and we said the range is the highest, I'll say the biggest value minus the smallest value. Big minus small. It is how far apart your data is, right? Okay, so let's say I have grades in a grade book, ready? And I've got an 84, and I've got an 88, and I've got a 92, and I've got a 97, and I've got a 99, and I've got 100, and another 100, right? Okay, let's say I have those numbers. I don't know, I'm just making this up, okay? Okay, good? The range is 16, right? The range would be 100 minus 84, which is 16, yeah? Okay, that's my range, right? What is the median of this data set?
97.
Is 97, right? Because I have 7 values in there, so 97 is my median. Okay, here is what the mid-range is. Are you ready? Here is what the mid-range is. I have you write this down. Mid-range is what the median should be. I'll explain myself here in a second. But think of the mid-range as what the median value should be, right? Okay? We have the median as a 97, right? Okay? But what should my middle number be if my lowest value is an 84 and my highest value is 100? 92. Right? If I add those together, 84 and 100 is 184. If I divide by 2, 92 should be my middle number, right? The mid-range is the average of the big and the small. Rather than subtracting them to find the range, your mid-range is finding the average of them. It's what your median value should be, right? My median value is a 97, so I'm actually doing a lot better than what I should be, right? My middle number, and really 84 and 88 are just kind of dragging that down a little ways. Most of my other grades are decent, right? But your mid-range is the maximum data value plus the minimum data value divided by 2, or just the average of your high and low, right? It's what the median should be. Does that make sense?
It should be a 92.
It should be a 92. Yeah. Okay? All right. So let's talk about mid-range. Because the mid-range only uses the maximum and minimum values, it doesn't use every value in the data set. True?
True.
Okay. Now let's talk about whether it is resistant or not resistant. You remember what resistant was? Let's write this down. Resistant. If it is resistant, I'm going to say yes, resistant. If it is yes, resistant, then that means outlier won't change it, right? Or not very much, right? If it is resistant. If it is not resistant, an outlier will change it.
So it is not resistant.
Okay, so when we're talking mid-range, the high and the low, if I then throw a 0 into this category, and then I try to figure out what my middle number should be. If I throw a 0 in there, 0 and 100, what should my median be? 50, right? 0 and 100, the average is 50. Did that change a lot? Mm-hmm. So a mid-range is not resistant because it changed a lot when I threw that outlier in there. Got it? Okay? In practice, the mid-range is not used very often. That's why you have not heard about mid-range until this class, right? We didn't really calculate that in 4th grade math, right? Okay? But it has 3 redeeming features. Here are the features. Mid-range is easy to compute. It's easier than finding the average because you're only doing the average of the 2 numbers, right? Mid-range is very easy to compute. The mid-range helps reinforce that the very important point that there are several different ways to define center of data, right? So we have the median, we have the mean, we have the mode, we have the mid-range. Those are all 4 ways of finding kind of the central number of your data point, right? The center data point, all right? The value of the mid-range is sometimes used incorrectly for the median because it's what the median should be. So confusion can be reduced by clearly defining the mid-range along with the median. All right, here we go. Let's find the mid-range. Find the mid-range for this data set. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, right? The biggest number is which number? 55.6. The smallest number is 14.1. Okay? All right. If I look at my data set, I think the middle number is actually like, I don't know, 23.1, right?
So it's actually
This is the median, right? Okay, but what should the median be if I add these together and I divide by 2?
34.87.
So the mid-range is 34 point what?
87.
87. Okay. And do you remember the rule? Carry? Is it 8.5? Yeah, it should be 8.5 actually. Right? Is it? I don't know. Yeah. I wrote 8.7 down, not 8.5. Yeah. Did you say 8.7 or 8.5? Okay, I don't remember. 8.5, whatever. Okay, what's the rule?
One more decimal.
One more decimal place. Okay, so circle that. One more decimal place. So when you do calculations, you carry one more decimal place. So the fact that this one has one decimal place, that means we're going to carry 2.
What if
For
we-
the mode.
So if like you get a 0, just have another 0?
Yeah. Except for mode. Mode, you're not going to have one more decimal place, right? The mode is just the mode, right? Okay, so without rounding, you don't round the mode. Okay?
Let's just stop there. Work
Good.
on homework, because there's a lot. Yeah, there is a lot.
Now we got to talk. So part 2 is weighted averages.
Oh, that's what we did.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk example 6. Here we go. See each of the following illustrations in which the mean and median are not meaningful statistics. This is when you would not calculate the average. Okay. You don't typically calculate average when you're dealing with categorical data. Categorical equals don't find the mean. Okay, give me a number that's a category instead of an actual number. I'm thinking like, what?
Address. Years.
Your address? Yeah, that's like a category, right? It wouldn't make sense for me to average the numbers for like somebody's house number, right? Like that wouldn't make sense. How about like jersey numbers? Birth month, like 1 through 12 or whatever, right? Like that wouldn't make any sense to me. Football jersey numbers or volleyball jersey numbers, like if you say the average jersey number is, like, doesn't make any sense, right? So that's typically when you don't want to find the mean, right? Okay?
You have that on the homework.
Yeah, I do have that on the homework probably. Okay? So it does not make any sense to find the average zip code. That's a category. Zip codes are categories, right? Do you know what a zip code is, Mary? So like in Blue Hill, we are zip code 68930. Okay, it's like the postal code.
68973.
Okay. All right. B, ranks of selected national universities. Ranks of universities. Okay. If you have a ranking, it doesn't make sense to average them together. Like Harvard ranks at 13.1 on the scale of, no, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Number of jerseys. We just talked jersey numbers. Doesn't make sense to average together. The top 5 incomes of cheap. Okay, this doesn't make sense to me. Why would they not average the top 5 incomes of CEOs? Like you could find the average income, right?
But they probably own different businesses.
But it's the ranking.
No, well, not really. Listen to this. Such as top 5 or top 10 lists include data that are not at all representations of larger populations. If I'm doing the top 5 or the top 10, great. What am I going to do with that number? I can't say that that represents the whole population because those are just the top 5 and the top 10, right? Okay, unless I say the top 5 CEOs have an average of this, right? But I wouldn't use that to say the average income of all United States people is this and only average the top 5, right? Okay, so that's why they say use caution. I'm going to say could be useful. But caution. Okay? Could be useful, but use caution. All right. And then it says the 50 mean ages. I would not want to average anything that has to do with age, right? Okay. From each of the 50 states. Oh, I guess we could average ages, right? But from each of the 50 states. Why not 50 states? Because there's different populations, the population sizes. So underline that. Maybe we should have gone through this problem first before doing number 2, right? Yeah. Population sizes are different, right? There's maybe older people living in, I don't know, like Arizona, Florida, California. Why? Because they're retiring there, right?
Old heads.
I don't know. There's probably more old people that live in those states. I have no idea, right? Okay. All right, good. Happy with this? Okay. We have 2 more things to talk about, and they are weighted mean.
Let's do that.
This is the part that people screw up.
Let's do
This is not that hard.
tomorrow.
No, this is not that hard.
How are we supposed to find this stuff if you told us not to?
Tomorrow.
You told us not to find it.
Okay, we'll stop. That's fine. Okay, use your time to work. This is a little bit hard, and I don't want to snow you. So,
Okay, you told
do
us.
the easy part first. Do
Okay.
those. Mean, median, mode. I don't know. Can we add any more to the list? You can do 23 now. But you cannot do the last 3.
Okay, you.
We do 23 before.
What?
Why couldn't we do 23 before?
We could. I just didn't add
Okay,
it. I just didn't add it.
Oh, Eli.
You could have done 23 before. Okay? So you should be able to do the whole front side plus 23 on the back side. Okay?
Okay.
It does take a bit of time. Mean and median. Okay?
You just told us that we can't find a.
What? Oh, but now you can do mid-range. You can add mid-range to that, yeah? So if you have already done 5, 6, 7,
No.
now 5 and 6, make sure you add mid-range to that.
You said it doesn't make any sense to find like of jersey numbers.
Oh.
So what are we supposed to do?
Oh. So I want you to go ahead and do it. But it says, what do these results tell us?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
So do it. But what, just to practice. But what do these results tell us? Nothing, because mean and median and mode don't mean anything for football number, jerseys, whatever.
Well, there can't be a mode.
When you're doing the median, you have to put them in order. Yes. Mean you don't. Mode you don't. Mid-range you do. Right? Okay? All right, so use your time to do those. You got lots of time. Okay? All right, goodbye, Jose.